I stood at the memorial service 6 months after my sister's death, watching the Austin sunset paint the sky the same shade of orange she'd always loved. Margaret had been gone half a year, but the wound felt fresh as the day I got the call. 58 years old, a diabetic emergency, they said. I had flown in from Seattle for the funeral, stayed a week, then returned to my quiet retirement, trying to convince myself that sometimes good people just die too young. The memorial was Margaret's husband Derek's idea. She would have wanted us to celebrate her life, he'd said on the phone, his voice cracking in all the right places. I'd driven down from Seattle again, this time bringing my wife, Linda. We'd been married 40 years, and she knew better than anyone how much losing my baby sister had gutted me. Margaret and I were only 4 years apart. We'd grown up in a tiny house in Waco, sharing secrets and dreams, and when I'd moved to Seattle to join the police force, she'd stayed in Texas, built a real estate empire, married Derek, and raised their son Tyler. The memorial was held at Margaret's favorite restaurant, a upscale steakhouse in downtown Austin where she'd closed half her biggest deals. About 40 people milled around, sharing stories, laughing at old memories. Derek worked the room like a politician, his silver hair perfectly styled, his suit expensive. He'd always been polished. Too polished, Margaret used to joke. But she'd loved him, or so I thought. I was getting a drink at the bar when a woman approached me. Late 50s, sharp gray suit, carrying a leather briefcase that looked like it cost more than my first car. "Mr. Harrison? William Harrison?" She extended her hand. "I'm Patricia Chen. I was your sister's attorney." I shook her hand, noticing the firmness of her grip. "Of course. Margaret mentioned you. Handled all her business deals." Among other things, Patricia glanced around the room, then lowered her voice. "I need to speak with you privately. It's urgent." Margaret left specific instructions. Something in her tone made my old detective instincts kick in. Instructions? "Not here." She pressed a business card into my palm. "There's a coffee shop 2 blocks west. Meet me there in 20 minutes. Come alone." She paused, her dark eyes holding mine. "And Mr. Harrison? Don't mention this conversation to anyone. Not Derek, not your nephew, not even your wife. Your sister was very clear about that." Before I could respond, she'd melted back into the crowd. I stood there, the business card growing warm in my hand, my heart rate picking up for the first time in months. 20 years as a detective teaches you to recognize when something's wrong, and every nerve in my body was screaming that whatever Patricia Chen had to tell me, it would change everything. I found Linda chatting with some of Margaret's real estate colleagues and whispered that I needed some air. She squeezed my hand, understanding, and I slipped out into the Texas evening. The coffee shop was one of those trendy places with exposed brick and overpriced espresso. Patricia was already there, sitting in a corner booth far from the windows. She had her briefcase open on the table. "Thank you for coming," she said as I slid into the seat across from her. "I know this seems dramatic, but your sister was insistent about the precautions." "Precautions against what?" Patricia pulled out a manila envelope, thick with papers, and a small black thumb drive, against her husband finding out what she knew before she could protect Tyler. The bottom dropped out of my stomach. "What are you talking about?" "Margaret died of diabetic shock. She forgot her insulin. Her blood sugar spiked." "Your sister never forgot her insulin. Not once in 23 years of managing her diabetes." Patricia's voice was quiet but firm. "William, may I call you William? Your sister came to see me 8 months ago. She was terrified. She'd discovered something about Derek, and she was planning to divorce him and cut him out of her will. She wanted everything to go to Tyler." I couldn't breathe. What did she discover? Patricia pulled out a photograph. It showed Derek with a woman I didn't recognize, clearly intimate, taken at some resort. His girlfriend, her name is Vanessa. They've been together for 3 years. But that's not the worst part. She pulled out financial documents, bank statements with highlighted numbers that made my head spin. "Derek has been embezzling from your sister's real estate company for 5 years. Over $2 million. Margaret found out when she was doing the annual audit. She confronted him, and he promised to stop seeing Vanessa, promised to pay it all back. She gave him 1 month, and then she died. Exactly. Patricia pulled out the thumb drive. 3 days before her death, Margaret came to my office. She was shaking. She'd installed security cameras in their home office without Derek knowing, and she'd caught him on tape. William, he was researching insulin overdose. How much would it take? How to stage it as an accident? My hands were trembling. Jesus Christ. She recorded everything. Every argument, every lie, every time he manipulated Tyler. It's all on here. Patricia pushed the thumb drive across the table. She was going to file for divorce that week. She was going to have him arrested for embezzlement. But she never got the chance. Why didn't you go to the police? I tried. I went to them the day after her funeral. They wouldn't listen. Her death was ruled accidental. She was diabetic, her insulin levels were elevated, there was no sign of foul play. The detective I spoke to, she pulled out a business card. Detective Morrison basically told me I was a paranoid attorney trying to help a bitter widow. Derek had already spun a story about Margaret being depressed, forgetting her medication, being erratic. I knew the type. Lazy cops who took the easy answer. It made my blood boil. There's more. Patricia's expression darkened. Tyler, your nephew is living with Derek, and Derek has convinced him that Margaret's death was Tyler's fault. That Tyler stressed her out so much with his college partying that she became forgetful and negligent. Tyler's been seeing a therapist, Derek chose, taking medication Derek monitors. He's dropped out of UT Austin. He barely leaves the house. That son of a bitch. I was half out of my seat. Patricia grabbed my wrist. Wait, there's something else you need to know. The life insurance. Margaret had a $3 million policy. Tyler is the beneficiary, but because he's only 19, Derek controls it as Tyler's guardian until he turns 25. Margaret was going to change that the week she died. So Derek kills her, inherits through Tyler, and has 6 years to drain the money. And he's already started. He's moved Tyler into a smaller apartment, sold Margaret's house, the one she built, her dream home, and bought himself a new Porsche and a condo in Miami. In Vanessa's name. I sat back down, my mind reeling. Margaret, my brilliant, careful, vibrant baby sister, murdered by the man she'd trusted for 25 years. What do you need from me? My voice came out hoarse. Tyler won't talk to me. Derek has convinced him I'm trying to steal his inheritance. But your family. Tyler always loved his Uncle William. Margaret's last instructions were clear. If anything happened to her, I was to give you this evidence and ask you to protect Tyler. She said you'd know what to do. I took the thumb drive, feeling its weight like a grenade in my palm. I'll need to see everything, every recording, every document. It's all there. But William, be careful. If Derek suspects you know something, he's already proven he's willing to kill. And there's one more thing. Patricia pulled out a final document. Derek has had Tyler sign a power of attorney. He controls Tyler's medical decisions, his finances, everything. If you try to intervene, Derek can have you barred from seeing your nephew. He can claim you're a destabilizing influence. Then I'll have to be smart about this. Patricia smiled grimly. Your sister said you would say that. She said you were the best detective she'd ever known. She trusted you to finish what she started. I left that coffee shop carrying my sister's final mission. The sun had fully set, and Austin's downtown lights glittered like broken glass. I didn't go back to the memorial. I couldn't look at Derek's face without wanting to put my fist through it. Instead, I called Linda and told her I was feeling unwell, asked her to get an Uber back to our hotel. Then I drove to a 2-4-hour diner on the outskirts of town, ordered coffee I didn't drink, and opened my laptop. The thumb drive contained a folder labeled, For William. Inside were 17 video files, 43 audio recordings, hundreds of pages of financial documents, and a letter. I clicked on the letter first. Dear William. It began in Margaret's precise handwriting, scanned to PDF. My eyes burned. If you're reading this, then something has happened to me, and Patricia has done exactly what I asked. I'm so sorry to put this burden on you. I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I wanted to handle it myself. I thought I could protect Tyler and myself and just make Derek go away quietly. I was wrong. I've been married to a monster for 25 years, and I never saw it. Or maybe I saw it and convinced myself I was imagining things. The small cruelties, the way he talked about people when they couldn't hear, how he'd smile at me and I'd sometimes catch something cold behind his eyes. But Tyler, oh God, William, our boy, he's so much like you. Smart, principled, brave. Derek hates him for it. I've watched Derek tear him down, bit by bit, since Tyler was old enough to have opinions of his own, and I enabled it. I made excuses. I told myself every father is hard on his son. The affair I could almost forgive. The money I built that company from nothing, but it's just money. What I can't forgive is what he said on the recording from November 8th. Listen to it. You'll understand. I'm going to divorce him and make sure he goes to prison. But if I don't get the chance, if he moves faster than I can protect myself, then please, big brother, protect my son. Don't let Derek destroy him. Don't let him take everything I built and use it to fund his new life with that woman. You always protected me when we were kids. Remember when Tommy Rodriguez tried to steal my bike and you chased him 3 blocks? You were 12. I was 8. You've been my hero my whole life. Be Tyler's hero now. All my love, Maggie. I had to close the laptop. Had to press my palms against my eyes to stop the tears. Maggie. She hadn't signed a letter, Maggie, since we were teenagers. It was always Margaret in her business correspondence. Mom in letters to Tyler. But to me, late at night when the walls came down, she was still Maggie. Still my baby sister who I'd failed to protect. I pulled myself together and clicked on the November 8th recording. It was audio only, timestamped 11:47 p.m. Margaret's home office, based on the file name. I heard a door open, then Derek's voice. Still awake? Going over the quarterly reports. Margaret's voice, tired. God, I missed that voice. You work too hard. Sounds of Derek moving around the room. Come to bed. In a minute. Derek, we need to talk about Tyler's tuition. A pause. What about it? It hasn't been paid. The bursar's office called. They're going to drop his enrollment if we don't pay by Friday. Shit. I forgot. I'll handle it tomorrow. You forgot? Derek, it's $40,000. How do you forget $40,000? I've been busy with the Miami property. It slipped my mind. What Miami property? Margaret's voice sharpened. We don't have any properties in Miami. Another pause. Longer this time. It's an investment. I was going to surprise you. An investment with whose money? Maggie, don't start. Don't start? Derek, show me the paperwork. Right now. It's at the office. Then let's look at the accounts. Pull up the business account. Let me see where $40,000 went. Shuffling sounds. A keyboard clicking. Then Margaret's sharp intake of breath. Derek, where is the money? I can explain. $200,000. Gone from the operating account. Where is it? I borrowed it. Temporarily. The Miami deal is going to triple. You stole from my company. Our company. My company. I'd never heard Margaret yell like that. I built this. Every property, every client, every dollar. You're listed as an officer for tax purposes, but you don't do a goddamn thing except smile at investors and play golf. That's not fair. Show me the Miami property, right now. Pull up the deed. More keyboard sounds. Then silence. Long, terrible silence. It's in Vanessa's name. Margaret's voice was ice. You bought your mistress a condo with my money. Maggie, don't you dare say my name. How long? It's not what you think. How long have you been fucking her, Derek? 3 years. But it's over. I swear. I'll end it. We can work through this. Get out. Maggie, please. Get out of my house. Sounds of Derek leaving. A door slamming. Then Margaret crying. Soft sobs that broke my heart. But the recording didn't end. I heard her pick up her phone, dial. Patricia? I'm sorry to call so late. I need to file for divorce. First thing Monday morning. And I want him prosecuted for embezzlement. Yes, I'm sure. Because he's also been cheating on me for 3 years and just bought his girlfriend a condo with my money. I know I should have left him years ago. Tyler. I need you to help me protect Tyler. If Derek realizes I'm serious, If he thinks he's going to lose everything. Her voice trailed off, and I heard the fear in it. She knew, somewhere deep down, she knew Derek was dangerous. The recording ended. I sat in that diner booth and played through 17 more videos. Security camera footage of Derek in the home office, Googling insulin overdose symptoms and how to stage diabetic emergency. Phone recordings of him sweet-talking Vanessa, promising her they'd be together soon, that the old bitch wouldn't be a problem much longer. Financial documents showing systematic theft going back 5 years, with the amounts escalating after the affair started. And the final video, dated 3 days before Margaret's death. Derek on the phone with someone. Life insurance pays out to Tyler, but I'm his guardian, power of attorney. I control everything until he's 25. No, he's not a problem. Kid's soft. I've been working on him for years. He'll do whatever I say, especially after his mom's tragic accident. Yeah, the insulin. It'll look natural. She's diabetic. Everyone knows diabetics can make mistakes. What? No. No one suspects anything. Her brother's a washed-up cop in Seattle. Haven't seen him in 2 years. Won't be an issue. I had to pause the video. He'd talked about me. Called me washed up. But worse. So much worse. He'd talked about killing my sister with the casual tone of someone ordering lunch. I forwarded everything to my own secure email, made 3 backup copies of the thumb drive, and spent the rest of the night making a plan. 20 years of detective work had taught me that evidence only matters if you can get it in front of the right people. And right now, I needed to see Tyler. The next morning, I told Linda I needed a few days to handle some of Margaret's estate issues. She knew me well enough to see I was lying, but trusted me enough not to push. She flew back to Seattle, and I checked into an extended stay hotel on the north side of Austin. Tyler lived in a modest apartment in a complex near UT Austin's campus, though he wasn't attending classes anymore, according to Patricia. I drove past it twice, noting the security cameras, the layout, planning my approach. I couldn't just knock on the door. If Derek had convinced Tyler I was a threat, a direct approach would fail. I needed to be subtle. I waited until the 3rd day. Then I got lucky. I saw Tyler leaving the apartment around noon, walking to a nearby grocery store. He looked terrible. My nephew had always been tall and athletic, a soccer player in high school with Margaret's bright smile. The young man I followed at a distance was gaunt, his shoulders hunched, wearing sweatpants and a stained t-shirt. His hair, which Margaret had always insisted he keep neat, hung greasy and unwashed past his collar. I intercepted him in the produce section. "Tyler?" He looked up, and I saw the dark circles under his eyes, the vacant expression. "Uncle William? Hey, buddy." I kept my voice light, casual. I was in the neighborhood, thought I'd grab some groceries. "Didn't know you lived around here." His eyes darted to the side, nervous. "I didn't know you were still in town. Just wrapping up some stuff for your mom's estate. Hey, you got a minute? Maybe grab a coffee?" "I don't. Derek's expecting me back. I'm making him lunch." "Just 5 minutes. Come on. I haven't seen you in forever. Your mom would want us to stay in touch." At the mention of Margaret, something flickered across his face. Pain, maybe guilt. "I can't. I'm sorry. I have to go." He abandoned his shopping cart and practically ran out of the store. I let him go, my heart sinking. Derek had his hooks in deep. That night, I called Patricia. He wouldn't talk to me. Looked scared. What the hell has Derek done to him? "I told you. Therapist, medication, constant psychological manipulation. Tyler blames himself for Margaret's death. Derek's convinced him that his behavior, normal college kid stuff, going to parties, getting a C in calculus, stressed Margaret so much that she became forgetful and careless with her insulin. That's insane. It's textbook abuse. Isolate the victim, make them dependent, convince them everything is their fault." Patricia sighed. "I've been trying to reach Tyler for months. He won't return my calls. There has to be a way to get through to him." "There might be." Margaret had a storage unit. She moved a lot of her personal items there. The week before she died, photo albums, Tyler's childhood things, her jewelry. I have the key and the access code. She wanted Tyler to have it all. But Derek doesn't know it exists. If you could get Tyler there, show him his mother's things, maybe remind him of who he was before Derek got to him. Give me the address. I spent the next 2 days planning. I couldn't force Tyler to come with me, couldn't kidnap my own nephew. But I could create an opportunity. I remembered something Margaret had told me years ago, Tyler's obsession with geocaching, a hobby they'd shared. She'd hidden caches all over Austin, and they'd spent weekends finding them together. I created a fake geocache entry online, listing coordinates that led to Margaret's storage facility. In the description, I wrote, "For Tyler Mom's final cache. The answer to all your questions. Come alone. The key is where you think it is." Then I sent Tyler an anonymous email from a burner account. "Your mom left you something. Check your old geocaching account." I waited at the storage facility on a Friday afternoon, parked where I could see the entrance but not be obvious. I'd been there for 3 hours when Tyler's car finally pulled up. He looked different, alert. He'd showered, combed his hair. He was moving with purpose as he checked his phone, then walked toward Unit 247. I got out of my car and approached carefully. "Tyler." He spun around, and I saw at the flash of real intelligence in his eyes, the quick calculation. Then it was gone, replaced by that vacant look. "Uncle William? What are you doing here? I could ask you the same thing. Got a mysterious email about a geocache?" His hand moved to his phone, protective. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Tyler, I know about your mom, about what really happened to her." His face went pale. "She forgot her insulin. It was an accident." "No, it wasn't." I pulled out my phone, showed him the photo of the thumb drive. "Your mom gave this to her attorney before she died. She knew Derek was dangerous. She was trying to protect you." "You're lying." "Derek said you'd try to turn me against him. He said you're unstable, that you never got over your sister's death and you're looking for someone to blame." But his voice cracked, and I saw his hands shaking. "Tyler, I need you to listen to me very carefully. I'm going to open this storage unit. Inside are your mom's things, photo albums from your childhood, her jewelry, letters she wrote you, and a laptop with evidence that Derek murdered her." "Stop it!" His voice rose, desperate. "Just stop. You don't understand. It was my fault. I stressed her out. I was failing classes, partying too much, Derek told me." "Derek is lying to you. He's been lying to you since before your mother died." I stepped closer, keeping my voice gentle. "Buddy, I know you're scared. I know he's convinced you that you can't trust your own memories, your own feelings. That's what abusers do. But I need you to trust me for just 5 minutes. If I'm wrong, you can call Derek, and I'll leave you alone forever. But if I'm right," his eyes filled with tears, "if you're right, then I've been living with the man who killed my mom for 6 months. I'm sorry. God, Tyler, I'm so sorry." He stood there, trembling, war playing out across his face. Then, so quietly, I almost missed it. "What's the code?" I punched in the numbers Patricia had given me. The lock clicked open, and I rolled up the door. Margaret had left everything. Boxes of photo albums, Tyler's baby clothes, her jewelry box. And in the back, a safe with a letter taped to it. "For Tyler," it read. "Combination is your birthday." Tyler approached like the safe might bite him. His hands shook as he spun the combination. Inside was Margaret's laptop and a letter. He read it standing up, and I watched his face crumble. The letter was brief. Margaret told him she loved him, that nothing was his fault, that Derek had been poisoning their relationship for years. She told him she was proud of who he'd become and terrified of what Derek might do to him. She begged him to trust William, to trust Patricia, to be brave. She knew. Tyler's voice was broken. She knew he was going to kill her, and she tried to warn me, and I didn't. I didn't. "You couldn't have known. You were 19 years old. This isn't on you." He opened the laptop. Margaret had left files, organized in folders labeled, "For the police, for Tyler, and for William." Tyler clicked on his folder. Inside were videos. Margaret talking to the camera, telling Tyler stories from his childhood. Her voice was warm, loving. "Remember when you were 5 and you decided you wanted to be a dinosaur when you grew up? You wore that T-Rex costume for 3 months straight. even to church. God, you were adorable." She laughed, and Tyler sobbed. There were dozens of videos. Margaret cooking Tyler's favorite meals, giving him advice about college, about relationships, about life. Love letters from a mother who knew she might not be there to guide her son through adulthood. And the final video, dated 2 days before her death. "Tyler, my beautiful boy, if you're watching this, then Derek did what I think he's going to do. I need you to know that none of this is your fault. Your father is a narcissist and a sociopath. He's been manipulating both of us for years. I was too weak to leave him sooner, and I'm sorry for that. But you are not weak. You're brilliant and kind and strong, just like your Uncle William. Don't let Derek convince you that you're broken. Don't let him medicate you into submission or isolate you from people who love you. Fight back, baby. Be brave. Use the evidence on this laptop. Work with Patricia and William. Make sure Derek pays for what he's done. And Tyler, know that I love you more than anything in this world. You are my greatest achievement. Not the business, not the money, not any of it. You, always you. Be happy, sweetheart. Live the life we planned. Fall in love. Travel. Make me proud. And when you think of me, don't remember the end. Remember the fishing trips, and the geocaching adventures, and the lazy Sunday mornings making pancakes. I love you. Always. Mum." Tyler collapsed against the boxes, and I held my nephew while he cried for the first time since Margaret's funeral. Really cried, not the numb, medicated grief Derek had allowed him. We stayed in that storage unit for an hour. Tyler went through the files, watched the recordings of Derek planning Margaret's murder, saw the financial evidence, and with each piece of proof, I watched him transform. The vacant, beaten-down kid disappeared, replaced by someone harder, hungrier. "I'm going to kill him," Tyler said finally. "No, you're not. You're going to help me put him in prison. Uncle William, he murdered my mom. He's been drugging me. Look." He rolled up his sleeve, showing track marks. "He's been injecting me with something he says is vitamin B12. Makes me fuzzy, compliant. He controls when I eat, when I sleep, who I talk to. I'm 19 years old, and I can't remember the last time I made a decision for myself." "What do you remember?" "Before the medication?" Tyler's jaw clenched. "Everything. I've been pretending for 3 months." I stared at him. "What?" "The medication. It's sedatives, muscle relaxers. Makes most people docile, but I have a high tolerance. Soccer injuries in high school, I built up resistance to pain meds." He met my eyes, and I saw Margaret in his expression. I figured out what he was doing in October. I pretended it was working. I played the zombie son. And I've been gathering evidence. My nephew pulled out his phone, opened a hidden app. I installed recording software on his computer. I have 3 months of him planning with Vanessa. They're going to drain my trust fund. Then he's going to have me committed to a psychiatric facility. Vanessa posed as a therapist, created a paper trail of me being unstable, dangerous. Once I'm locked up, Derek gets full control of the money, and I disappear. Jesus Christ, I couldn't go to the police. Derek has connections. Detective Morrison plays golf with him. But I've been documenting everything. Every dose of medication. Every threatening conversation. Every time he hit me. "He hit you?" Tyler pulled off his shirt. His ribs were a canvas of bruises, some fresh, some fading yellow. Only where it doesn't show. He's careful. I felt 20 years of professional calm evaporate. "We're going to the FBI. Right now." "No," Tyler's voice was firm. "If we go now, we tip our hand. Derek will lawyer up, destroy evidence. We do this smart, like Mom would have wanted." I looked at my nephew with new respect. "What do you have in mind?" "Derek thinks he's won. He thinks I'm broken. We use that. I go back to the apartment, continue playing the victim. You work with Patricia to build an airtight legal case. And when we have everything we need, we spring the trap. That's dangerous. If he suspects, he won't. I've been doing this for months. I can do it a little longer." Tyler's eyes were hard. "But Uncle William, when we take him down, I want to be there. I want him to know it was me. I want him to see Mom's son destroy him." We spent 3 more hours in that storage unit, planning. Tyler would continue his act. I would coordinate with Patricia to compile evidence. We'd work with a federal prosecutor, Patricia knew, someone outside Derek's sphere of influence, and we'd wait for the perfect moment. Tyler drove back to the apartment. I watched him transform as he got in his car, shoulders slumping, that vacant look sliding back over his face like a mask. My nephew was one hell of an actor. Over the next 6 weeks, we built our case. Patricia hired a forensic accountant who traced Derek's embezzlement. I worked with a private investigator to document his relationship with Vanessa, including evidence that she'd posed as a licensed therapist to create Tyler's fake psychiatric records. And Tyler wore a wire, recording Derek's daily abuse. The recordings were damning. Derek on tape, telling Tyler that Margaret had hated him, that she'd considered giving him up for adoption. Derek promising to get rid of Tyler once the trust fund was secured. Derek hitting Tyler, then apologizing, then hitting him again. I listened to those recordings in my hotel room, my hands clenched into fists, fighting the urge to drive over there and end Derek myself. But Tyler was right. We had to do this the right way. The break came in week 7. Tyler called me at 2 a.m. "Uncle William, I need you to come to the apartment. Now. Don't call the police. Just come." I was there in 15 minutes, my service weapon from my cop days loaded and in my glove compartment. Tyler met me at the door, and for once, he wasn't pretending. He was shaking. He knows. Derek knows I've been faking. "What happened?" Vanessa called. "She's pregnant. She told Derek she wants him to speed things up, get my money faster." Derek came home drunk, started ranting about how he should have killed me along with Mom. He grabbed my pills, the ones he thinks keep me sedated, and counted them. "There are too many. I've been hiding them instead of taking them." Tyler's voice was rapid, terrified. He figured it out. He asked me to prove I was really drugged. Asked me questions he knew I couldn't answer if I was actually medicated. Uncle William, I think he's going to kill me tonight." "Where is he now?" "Passed out on the couch." "But he's got a gun. I saw it when he was waving it around. He kept saying he should just shoot me. Make it look like a suicide." "We're leaving. Right now." "No. If I run, he'll know. He'll destroy evidence and disappear. We're this close." Tyler grabbed my arm. "You wanted the perfect moment? This is it. Derek just confessed to murdering Mom on tape. He threatened to kill me on tape. He's got the gun illegally. He's a convicted felon from 20 years ago. Mom told me once, but asked me never to mention it. Tyler, call the FBI. Call the prosecutor. Get them here with a warrant. I'll wake Derek up. Get him talking again. We end this tonight." I wanted to say no. Wanted to throw Tyler in my car and drive far away from this nightmare. But I saw Margaret in his eyes. That same stubborn determination she'd had when she decided to build her real estate empire from nothing. I called Patricia, who contacted the federal prosecutor. 45 minutes later, FBI agents were surrounding the apartment. The prosecutor, a sharp woman named Amanda Reeves, listened to Tyler's recordings and signed a warrant. They gave me a vest and put me in the entry team. I wasn't law enforcement anymore, but Amanda bent the rules. "Your nephew's in there," she said simply. We breached at 4:47 a.m. Derek was awake, sitting at the kitchen table with his illegal firearm in front of him. Tyler sat across from him, talking quietly. When the door crashed open, Derek grabbed for the gun. He didn't make it. 3 agents had him on the floor in seconds. I went to Tyler, pulled him away from the scene. He was shaking but calm. "Did you get it?" he asked. I nodded. The wire had recorded everything. Derek's drunken confession to murdering Margaret, his threats against Tyler, his plan to have Tyler committed and steal his inheritance. They arrested Derek on multiple charges: first-degree murder, attempted murder, embezzlement, fraud, illegal weapons possession. Vanessa was picked up an hour later. The trial took 9 months. Derek's lawyers tried every trick, but the evidence was overwhelming. Margaret's recordings, Tyler's wiretaps, the financial forensics. The testimony from Patricia, from me, from 3 of Margaret's friends who'd noticed bruises on her arms in the weeks before her death. The prosecution's star witness was Tyler. My nephew sat on that stand for 2 days, calmly recounting Derek's abuse. He showed the jury his scars, played the recordings of Derek hitting him, explained how he'd pretended to be drugged while gathering evidence. Derek's lawyer tried to paint Tyler as an angry son seeking revenge. Tyler looked him in the eye and said, "I'm not angry. I'm my mother's son. And she taught me that justice isn't revenge. It's accountability." The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Derek was convicted on all counts. First-degree murder, attempted murder of Tyler, 2 attempted murder of me. They found evidence he'd been planning to stage a tragic accident. For me, 2 embezzlement and weapons charges. The judge sentenced him to life without parole. I was there when they led him away in chains. Derek looked at Tyler, and there was pure hatred in his eyes. "You ungrateful little shit. I raised you. I fed you. I gave you everything." Tyler stood up. "You gave me nothing. My mother gave me everything, including the strength to take you down." It was the last time we saw Derek. In the aftermath, Tyler inherited everything: Margaret's estate, the life insurance, the real estate company. He sold the company but kept Margaret's favorite property, a small lakeside cabin where they'd spent summers. He enrolled back at UT Austin, changed his major to criminal justice. "I'm going to be a prosecutor," he told me over dinner 6 months after the trial. "Like Amanda Reeves, I'm going to put away people like Derek." We scattered some of Margaret's ashes at the cabin. Patricia came, and Amanda, and Linda. We told stories about Margaret, laughed at old memories. Tyler spread the ashes on the water where he and Margaret used to fish. "She saved me," he said quietly. "Even after she died, she was still protecting me. The evidence she gathered, the lawyer she chose, the way she reached out to you. She planned everything. She loved you," I said. "More than anything." "I know." Tyler watched the ashes drift on the current. "I'm going to make her proud." And he did. Tyler graduated summa cum laude, went to law school, joined the DA's office. He prosecuted domestic violence cases, elder abuse, financial fraud. He became the kind of lawyer Margaret would have been proud of. As for me, I came out of retirement. I started a private investigation firm specializing in cases like Margaret's suspicious deaths, financial abuse, family violence. Tyler and I worked together sometimes, uncle and nephew, carrying on Margaret's fight. People ask me if I'm angry, if I hate Derek for what he did to my sister. The truth is, I don't think about Derek at all. He's in a cell, and that's where he'll die. My energy goes to the living, to the people I can still help. But sometimes, late at night, I think about that memorial service. About Patricia pulling me aside and handing me that thumb drive. About Margaret's voice on those recordings, scared but determined, making plans to protect her son even after death. She asked me to be Tyler's hero. But really, Tyler was his own hero. He survived 6 months of psychological torture, kept his wits, gathered evidence, and helped bring down his mother's killer. Margaret would be so proud of the man her boy became. I know I am. The last thing Margaret said in her letter to Tyler was, "When you think of me, don't remember the end. Remember the fishing trips and the geocaching adventures and the lazy Sunday mornings making pancakes." So that's what we do. Tyler and I go fishing at the cabin. We hide geocaches around Austin with little notes inside. Margaret was here. She loved this spot. And every Sunday, Tyler makes pancakes using Margaret's recipe. He sends me photos, golden stacks with fresh blueberries, just how she made them. Derek took 6 months of our lives. But he didn't take Margaret's memory. He didn't take Tyler's future. And he didn't take the love that still binds our family together. In the end, Margaret won. Evil hides in plain sight, wearing a charming smile and expensive suits. But love is stronger. Love leaves evidence. Love creates plans. Love reaches from beyond the grave to protect the people it cares about. My sister taught me that. And I'll spend the rest of my life making sure other families learn it too, before it's too late. Because Margaret's story isn't unique. There are Dereks everywhere, manipulating, abusing, killing. There are Tylers everywhere, isolated and convinced that everything is their fault. But there are also Margarets everywhere, people who see the truth and refuse to stay silent, even when it's terrifying. People who document evidence and create plans and trust the right people to carry on their fight. If you're reading this and something feels wrong in your family, Trust that feeling. If someone is isolating you, controlling you, making you doubt your own mind, that's abuse. And abuse, left unchecked, can turn deadly. Document everything. Tell someone outside the situation. Create a safety plan. Be like Margaret. Be like Tyler. Be brave enough to fight back. And if you can't fight for yourself, find someone who will fight for you. Because, in the end, that's what saved Tyler. He wasn't alone. He had his mother's planning, Patricia's legal expertise, and me. He had people who loved him more than Derek's manipulation could overcome. We all need people like that. We all deserve people like that. I look at Tyler now, successful prosecutor, advocate for abuse victims, happy and whole, and I know Margaret's watching. I know she's proud. And I know that every monster we put away, every family we save, every person we help escape before it's too late, that's our memorial to her. Not flowers on a grave or plaques on a wall, but lives saved, justice served, love winning over evil. That's how we honor Margaret. That's how we make sure her death meant something. And that's how we make sure Derek's kind never wins again.